welcome back to another episode of the Truth and Transparency Podcast with your host, Brother X, and listeners, you can't see, but we put out a milk carton, a singular milk carton, because that's all we could afford for the culture scientists. But in all seriousness, man, she will not be with us this evening. She has to take care of some business, but she will be back next time we record, hopefully. So y'all send her love on social media and all those things. She's trying to get this sponsorship by the Cotton Candy Company, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, man, we're back with another episode. We're here talking about everything truthful and transparently in 2023 and why people can't get right. First and foremost, we appreciate all the love. Hopefully, those of you who are in homecoming season supporting HBCUs are having a safe and a quality time. As you've seen in the title of the episode, that's what we're going to get into. But there's some major stuff that we're going to talk about if you haven't already been on social media. So we'll see. So without further ado, you know her, you love her. She makes blankets on her spare time. Queen C, introduce yourself.
I do make blankets in my spare time. Y'all, I might have to set up a shop.
Hey, it's calling.
Anyway, it's your girl Queen C, 61.5 inches of fluff and fun, back at it to talk about some homecoming antics. Yay.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna get into it. I mean, what do I call her now? She I could be rude, but then that'd be disrespectful to another person on this episode. Teacher Bay, introduce yourself.
Hi, it's Teacher Bay. Just excited. I'll save the good news till later, but yes, just happy.
And you have Mr. Smith.
Wow.
Our sound engineer, the man with many hats and many names, the boy, the legend, the myth, the old head. This podcast would not be what it is without you. Mr. Smith, you have a proper introduction. Now introduce yourself.
Well then, I gotta give it to you. I feel honored. I would like to thank the Academy. Okay, I'm not an actor. Let me go ahead and stop that now.
Okay, Will Smith.
Keep my never mind. Anywho, it's your favorite fan, Mr. Smith, also known as Soundbite Poppy, also known as Mr.
I like turtles.
And I'd like to thank the listeners for the comments, the places, subscriptions. Keep feeding us and keep feeding y'all. Number one, shout out to the Chaotic Culture Podcast for always showing us love and support. Shout out to Ken for just seeing us on Homecoming's campus and just being like, hey, there's Brother X and the Coach Scientist. What up, Mr. Smith? It's like, yo, HBCU people, boy, we are great. Number two, from the previous episode, listeners, we talked about the lady that did the Cheesecake Factory date thing. We're not going to really rehash it. We're just going to come up and say we had a feeling it was fake, and it turned out it was a skit. Thanks to Queen C for giving us the link for it, which now that I look back at it, we should have known it was fake when she kept looking at the camera going, y'all, can y'all believe this? Can y'all believe this? Like, he backing up out the space. Ma'am. Then on top of that, she said, I'm doing this to empower women to make their decisions. Decision of what? You were late. And ma'am, I hate to say this, you're average at best. Damn. Better be glad that it was Cheesecake Factory and not McDonald's. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and move forward with that one.
Mad decent.
She better go ahead and eat that doo-doo bread and call it a day.
The
that bread that keep you regular.
The bread fire, though. That cheesecake bread fire. You can't say it's not.
You're right, it's fire. And your bowel movement going to be fire, too.
Hey, we elders now at this point, so guess what? You need to be regular.
You're not wrong. That prune juice is calling.
Who you calling an elder?
Man.
Apparently, Blue, I did call us all elders. I don't want to hear
Queen C, go ahead and stand up and sit down 3 times fast.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
You an elder.
Okay.
Touché.
I promise you. You're going to have all 3 characters from Snap, Crackle, and Pop.
Oh, God. All right.
It was definitely there this weekend.
And oh, God, we're just going to move on. And the last thing, listeners, there is apparently a place that we love called Waffle House that wanted to upgrade itself. Shout out to Beyonce. There's a specific Waffle House in Asheville, North Carolina, at the Biltmore Estate, which is having more upscale items such as chicken and waffles, filet tips for jalapeno grits, and also can have a poppin' beer, wine, and liquor spot. Now, in the immortal words of Brother X, if I don't see the chef scrambling the eggs and cheese with his hand, I don't want it. I don't want it. So if you're telling me the staff will maintain a strict dress code and the diner food meets force fanciful and it won't be cheap, I don't want it. The whole purpose of Waffle House is to be able to have the great food at a hole in the wall place. That's not a hole in the wall, although depending on the person or depending on the area, it could be. But no, you can keep it. Give me my scrambled eggs with cheese and my plain waffle and my sausage with extra order scrambled eggs with cheese.
That's crazy.
We're gonna try it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
But to give listeners a little bit more information, the Biltmore is, I want to believe it is I won't say decommissioned, but it is an old castle located in Asheville. It's really nice. Like, I considered it when I was getting ready to do the proposal for the cultural scientist. But you're gonna pay a pretty penny to be in the area, and it's nice. It's a nice little trip. But no, if it don't look like Luther is cooking on the back stove, I don't want it. If the big mama that's on the register ain't look like she about to cuss out 3 people, I don't want it.
If the chef is not double sleeved up.
Like, if he don't look like he got a AAU game at 7 in the morning and then got shipped at 2 in the afternoon, I don't want it.
If he don't look like he just flicked the butt of his cigarette before coming back in to cook the food, I don't want it.
If it don't look like he just flicked his lighter like Lil Wayne about to get on a freestyle verse, I don't want it.
Bang, 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 bang.
All right. I think the point has been made. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and move on to our mental health check-in. Quincy, how are you doing mentally?
Besides the fact that daylight is getting shorter and shorter, I'm good. Seasonal depression is a bitch, though. It's very real. I could not make it to the office this morning because I could not get out of bed. I worked from home.
Fair enough. Teacher Bay, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Just trying to stay healthy in these streets. You know, with the change of weather and kids getting sick, you know.
Man.
That's all.
They little petri dishes, man.
That is so true.
Better keep El Nino home.
Please.
Don't change his name to El Sicko. Turn it into a Travis Scott song.
But nah, I'm fine. That's it.
Okay. Cool. And without further ado, Mr. Smith, I know you got some stuff you got to get off your chest. How are you doing mentally?
It's not really a lot I had to get off my chest. I'm more so just kind of like, I can actually take a breath of relief. I have a weight lifted off my shoulders, which we'll get into later on in the episode. But yeah, just kind of me and Teacher Bay have kind of been running for like the last month of just activities or events or whatever. And you know, I'm thankful because at the time that listeners will hear this, it will be my birthday and I'll be 36 in these streets. Damn.
Damn.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Gonna be me though.
Like you not gonna be there in 3 years.
Hey, that's for a future.
And I gotta bleep that out. Anywho, but yeah, no, overall, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the future. I'm just thankful that I'm able to still have life, still have breath on this earth, still be in a positive mindset, and not be with anybody that don't like Cheesecake Factory. Because them streets is ghetto.
Oh, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into them certain streets. For me, I'm doing all right, man. The weather does kind of change your atmosphere and your mood a little bit, but I try to work through it. Getting back with my trainer after being gone for about a month. Had our first workout. It was pretty good. Not liking the cold. And side note, anybody that prefers cold weather over warm weather, your mama's a hoe.
Wow.
But I'm not gonna talk about that. I am kidding. I am joking. I do not actually mean it.
Bruh.
I'm sorry.
Bruh.
A little bit too much. Mr. Smith, you can take that out in post.
Oh, I'm definitely not taking that out. That's hilarious.
But no, in all seriousness, man, I'm not a cold weather person. It's just not my thing. Like my stocky arms aren't built for it. I can't rub my arms together for warmth. If you don't get the joke, you don't know me well enough to ask why. Oh yeah. I got a little bit of T-Rex in my family. But no, I'm doing well, man. I can't complain. I'm blessed, highly favored. Just happy for fellowship with homecoming and new beginnings and all the things, man. But without further ado, I'm not gonna yell this time. Mrs. Smith, play that smooth jazz for our Sports Center.
Okay. So we're gonna start off with college basketball, and as of the time of this recording, this is like breaking news fresh off the press. Legendary college basketball coach Bob Knight passed away at the age of 81. He was definitely a well-known legendary coach, a lot of college wins. One of his most, I guess, famous or infamous moments was when he got so heated at a ref that this nigga threw a chair onto the court and then walked off like, now what? What you gonna do? This nigga really did come up like Debo, like, what chain? So prayers to the family. Like, he definitely left a legacy that is still being looked at these days, and we hope that he finally can rest and enjoy. Well, I'm not gonna say enjoy, but he gets the rest that he deserves. We'll say that. Going into the NBA, and the biggest thing out of that is that James Harden was traded again. This time to the Clippers, which is where he wanted to go originally, or where he wanted to go this time. The Clippers, they traded a haul. I'm not even gonna lie. They traded Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, and draft picks for him and PJ Tucker. So you're looking at, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Teacher Bay. I'm sorry. Correction. Bob Knight was 83, not 81.
There you go.
Thank you. That's why you're my person. But getting back to the James Harden, I feel like you just trading your entire bench for 2 players in draft picks. Why? This is the Phoenix Suns all over again. You have a lot of scoring with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Russell Westbrook and James Harden. But James Harden don't really play defense. Kawhi Leonard is probably one more bad season away from pretty much being Brandon Roy with 2 rings. Paul George is Paul George, and Russell Westbrook, he's streaky in the regular season. He's in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens with that. Moving on, Giannis, as of from the last time that we talked, listeners, he got a major contract extension. He's going to be earning about $62 million a year.
Damn.
I wish I could get some of that money.
Oh.
Because listen, you're talking about this nigga get an extension off of that, and he can still get another big contract and like one more big contract throughout his career. Like, that's wild. But I mean, obviously he deserves it. He is the face of the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's interesting because he he got that at the same point that they traded for Damian Lillard. So that's a lot of money in two people. But, that's pretty much how the NBA goes these days. You got one person in Giannis that makes what? They got a 3-year, $186 million extension. And then Damian, he had an extension like in the 200s when he was with or something like that, when he was with the Portland Trailblazers for getting traded. So, yeah, crazy money, crazy TV money. Last thing, the first set of games are in the books for the NBA. And Lakers, me and teacher-based Lakers, Anthony Davis, if you want to show up and start playing to your contract, we would greatly appreciate it, because how in the blue hell do you score 0 points in a whole half of a game? How does Joker, beat you like that? Yeah, bro. I'm gonna need you to play better. When LeBron, who's 38, about to be 39, is playing better than you, that's a problem.
Mr. Smith, I have only one word, in the mortal words of the legend, R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. Soft. That's why. Charming.
I mean, he's built like paper mache. Every time he falls, me and Teacher Bay gotta hold our breath, make sure he ain't injured himself.
I need you to understand, he is as soft as fresh cookies out the oven.
God damn. Jesus.
Soft as cookies that's been sitting in some milk for a while.
You know what? I can't be mad at that.
That's true.
That's true. So I can't be mad. Denver and Golden State right now look like prime Western Conference Finals opponents. And shout out to Brother X's light-skinned doppelganger or light-skinned cousin, that is Wardell Stephen Curry. I don't know who the hell pissed him off, but that nigga has been on a mission. And let me tell you something, listeners. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube Steph Curry, Dylan Brooks this year. When I tell you this man barbecued chicken, I'm talking hibachi. Let me go ahead and give you the little onion with the little volcano. Then let me chop up all the damn meats. Let me put the he barbecued that man.
Yeah, he took that boy to Benihana's.
And I'm talking extra garlic butter. I got Benihana issues. That's how bad Steph Curry did Dylan Brooks. So I'm still trying to understand, Houston Rockets, why did you pay that man that money? He ain't that good. And it shows. He had one game that was good in the Olympics, and that's it. And in the immortal words of himself, he said, I don't respect nobody until they give me 40. And the Lakers beat him by 40 in the final closeout game. None of that. Yeah. Last thing, quick thing for the NFL. Me and Teacher Base Ravens, top of our division. We made the Lions look like some Cubs.
Sorry, Dad.
Yes. Daddy Teacher Bay, if you listen to this, yeah, we sorry. We're not. We are.
You better tell him past 6 is what he need to do.
Oh yeah, we tried to call him and he didn't pick up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to us getting a linebacker, Tyus Bowser, back, and then I really want to see what this defense can do, because our defense is playing amazing. Offense is starting to find their stride, so it's looking good. I don't want to get my hopes up though, because usually that happens and then it goes back. So we're gonna tailor our expectations. Last thing, Washington Commanders, what in the immortal hell are you doing? You trade 2 defensive linemen and Montez Sweat and Chase Young. I don't even really care about Montez Sweat like that, because I know he's a beast. He's going to do well, but I want you to understand what you just did. You just traded Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers, which means they have Nick Bosa coming off on one side and Chase Young coming off on the other. Oh, did I forget to mention Fred Warner is the middle linebacker in the middle? What the hell are y'all doing? Y'all just want to get the 49ers the easiest path to the Super Bowl? Granted, they still got to go to the Eagles, but like, come on. How? Why? Seriously, why? But that is pretty much all for Sports Center. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns about the NFL, you want to learn more, hit up me and Teacher Bay's boy Red Wolf on his YouTube and his Instagram. His links will be in the description below.
All right, play the old 90s R&B music that might get us copyrighted. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and move into our next segment, which is called Now Mind You, where we talk about things in the that we find on the internet and on social media, and sometimes the Shade Room or Baller Alert that we find interesting, and we use the Black vernacular. Now, mind you, to share the key and vital things of said story. Now, this first one, I'm gonna read you the headline, and then I'm gonna get into the details because that's how we do. Atlanta woman is shocked after learning her home was demolished while she was on vacation.
Who gave you the right, the permission, the audacity?
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
Now, Atlanta woman is now seeking explanations after her home was demolished while she was away on vacation. Sarah Hodgson, I want to say, close enough, explained the situation in an interview to the Associated Press. She states, "I'm furious. I keep waking up thinking, is this all a joke or something? I'm just in shock." She continues to say that she received a call from a concerned neighbor who had noticed the unauthorized demolition of her vacant house in Southwest Atlanta. The neighbor asked her if she hired construction workers to destroy the house, but when she said no, the neighbor responded, "Well, there's someone over there who just demolished the whole house and tore it all down." Upon the neighbor's decision to approach the workers, the victim said that they told the neighbor to shut up and mind her own business. The woman then proceeded to contact a family member and requested that they visit the property to assess the situation. Once they arrived, the family member questioned the worker's permit. Following an examination of the permit by a site supervisor, Hodgson revealed that he concealed the site supervisor conceded to the error, acknowledging that they had mistakenly arrived at the wrong address. As a result, the work crew swiftly disassembled their equipment and vacated the premises, leaving the house in ruin. So, to give you a quick synopsis, Shawty goes on a vacation to Dubai. I'm assuming to Dubai. We're just gonna say Dubai for story's sake. It sounds better. But she gets a phone call saying that you can't come home. She asks why. There ain't no home to come home to. What you mean? Yeah, your house is being torn down as I speak. There goes your bathroom. And when the neighbors who were concerned went over to the people and said, "Hey, what's going on? Is everything are you guys turning down? Why are you here tearing down the house?" The site person said, "My business to go somewhere," which in normal cases, like, okay, yeah, stop being nosy. But then when you find out from the family member, hey, they went to the wrong house, dog, I'm telling you, HGTV ain't gonna be able to stop me. I'm gonna have a 3-level house. I'm gonna have a bath inside my bath. I'm gonna have like 2 bidets. I'm gonna have a balcony. My balcony gonna have a balcony. I'm gonna have an inside pool and an outside pool. Shout out to Ray J. But yeah, you have any thoughts? Mr. Smith.
One, damn it, you took my joke. I was ready.
I am so sorry.
No, you fine. I was ready to pull that Ray J one out. I got an indoor pool. I got an outdoor pool. That's a partridge in a pear tree, bitch. But listen, this is Atlanta. If you were telling me that you made the mistake of knocking down my house by accident, and then you pack up and leave my shit in ruin and try to skedaddle, I'm about to have a house bigger than Ludacris. Listen, it's about to, Southern hospitality gonna come out, and I'm about to be throwing them bows until you get too fast, too furious, and maybe my house. It's about to be a mansion out this thing. I'm about to be on the next MTV Cribs. Okay? Basketball court. We're going to have a football field. I'm going to have a jacuzzi. Teacher Bay going to have a wellness room. It's about to be lit. And on top of that, it's going to be for the free $99, plus you give me a Rolls Royce for compensation.
He's gonna have a whole community.
Oh, I mean, listen, I ain't mad
About
about
to say,
that.
fuck around and find out. Teacher
I
Bay, you got
can't
any
wait.
thoughts?
I do actually. I'm just shocked. It just couldn't be me because who they gonna see the Diary of a Mad Black Woman for real? Like I'm on vacation and y'all just accidentally demolished my house, and what am I supposed to be doing? Like who does that? Who doesn't verify first before demolishing a house? Like I just don't understand. Like all of them need to be fired, and I need to be compensated.
Time out. Before they get fired, building my house, then get fired.
No, I don't want
Oh,
them to build my house.
You're making me a new house.
I don't know if I want them to build it. I don't trust them. They ain't gonna verify nothing.
Oh,
I don't
You're
need
not
shaky
wrong.
foundation.
You are
Shaky
not wrong.
foundation? No.
baby.
Yeah.
5 points. That was good. That was good. I'll give you that.
But yeah.
Queasy, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, somebody called Chip and Joanna Gaines. I would like a 4-story house, including a fully furnished sports cave in the basement, complete with a bar and a pool table. I need monetary compensation for the emotional damage and distress of the situation. And in the words of Brother X earlier in the episode, all they mamas is hoes.
Yeah. She said what she said. Like, I'm gonna promise you right now, if it's me, I'm about to say the coach of science is gonna get her own she shed. That's how hey, I'm gonna just have extra shit for no reason. Like, my house gonna rotate, it's gonna have spinners on it. I don't know what that's gonna do, but it's gonna have spinners on it. Mr. Smith.
Did you just do pimp my ride for houses? It's gonna have spinner
Pimp
just
my
because. Next thing you're gonna say is you're gonna have a TV screen in the window just because you can do it.
Hey, I
Yes,
heard you like bathtubs, so we put a bathtub inside your bathtub.
a double-decker bathtub. It's gonna be cascading water from one tub to the next. All right, moving on. But we're gonna stick in Atlanta, and I'm gonna actually pass this over to Mr. Smith to talk about another great thing, or supposedly great thing about Atlanta, which is the food. Mr. Smith, take it away.
So, listeners, me and Brother X have been to Atlanta multiple times, have frequented many establishments, have had a myriad of lemon pepper wings, wet, and we had some dry rub as well. And so within that, we know how the food in the establishments are there. Insert TikToker and very well-known food critic, Keith Lee, who does work for the people. If you don't know who he is a person that goes to mom and pop shops, major restaurants, tries out their food, and he'll critique it. And because his following is so huge, if you do good service and you give him the good food, like his fan base will flock and your sales will skyrocket based off his review. So it almost is, I think the sentence or the wording is like, this restaurant has been Keith Lee, and then all of a sudden, now the lines are out the door. Well, Keith decided to take his food tour to Atlanta, and straight off the plane, the first place that they went to was the Atlantic Breakfast Club. Now, the thing about Keith is, when it comes to his reviews, he never goes in there himself. He always sends his family in there because his exact words are, I want you to treat me like you treat everybody else. I don't want the special treatment. I don't want the celebrity treatment because he doesn't feel that he's a celebrity. Granted, shout out to Kev on stage and that chick Angel. Keith, you a celebrity, my nigga. Like, I don't care what you say. You got a following. You are a celebrity. But basically, what he'll do is he'll send his family in there, which he doesn't usually put on the videos except for this round. And his family will order and they won't know who it is, so they can get a full authentic feel of what it's like as a regular commoner 9-to-5er. So first place that he went to is the Atlanta Breakfast Club. And listeners, if you remember from one of our previous episodes, not to be confused with Breakfast at Barney's, aka place at 24-karat pancakes in the Mansa Musa Tower. So he said that the customer service was interesting because they tried to do takeout, but couldn't sit down and wait inside due to their rules, which, dear God, me and Brother X know all about that.
No.
and that there was no space to sit at the bar. So they had to stand outside and order their food. Plus, you couldn't make any additions once the original order was made. Basically, if you had made an order and then after you pay for it, like, oh, wait, do you mind add it? Nope. One order, one time, one band, one sound, one take. That's it. Within all of that, you would think with all that, okay, the food is going to be great. The food was mid. The French toast was in. The peaches was good. The only thing that was good, the only thing that he really liked was the salmon croquette with the sauce. They also, funny enough, charged for butter at the Breakfast Club. Let me repeat that for you in case you don't hear me. They charge for butter at a breakfast place.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, we just gonna move on because that's just dumb as hell. So the second place he tried was the Little Baby's Restaurant, which he couldn't really review because he's allergic to shellfish. And according to them, they cook their seafood, their shellfish, and regular food in the same oil. So he had his sister and his wife reviewed it. And again, it had its moments, but it was mid. Me and Teacher Bay actually looked at the food and was like, yeah, all right, cool. Third place he tried was called the Juicy Jerk, which he mentions that this was the first place he could call in his order ahead of time. Everywhere else was no call-ins, no walk-ins, no nothing. You could barely order food. Listen, that is the ritual of Atlanta. You can barely order food. And this is coming from me and Brother X, who legitimately will go to Harold's and nigga.
Bro, no matter when you go, no matter how long you've been there, you wait an hour. Like they gotta go catch the chickens. They have to scrape off the lemon pepper off the actual lemons and the pepper, grind it up yourself, toss it, let it sit there, let it get cold, let it get heated up again, and then serve it to you.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna tell you, oh yeah, that'll be $45. I'm sorry, ma'am, what? For what? A service fee. Nigga, what? All right, I'm sorry, continue.
You had to get it off your chest?
Just a little bit.
Okay, gotcha. So funny enough, listeners, this place, Juicy Jerk, is a Jamaican restaurant. If you know, the customer service at Jamaican restaurants aren't the best, but it also means that if the customer service isn't the best, that food gonna slap. Well, it's funny because he said this was the best customer service he had the entire time. I want you to listen to what I just said. This nigga said the best customer service he had in Atlanta came from a Jamaican restaurant. Do you know how bad you have to be that a Jamaican restaurant has better customer service than you? That's a problem. But
that's an oxymoron.
Listen.
Hey, keep it happening, man.
But me and Teacher Bay actually reviewed the food, and we ain't gonna lie. We when we go to Atlanta, we might have to stop at Juicy Jerk because them jerk ribs
and the jerk chicken.
Yeah, that joint looked fire. So he definitely gave him good reviews. Now, the two places that caused the most controversy. The first place was called the Real Milk and Honey. Now, I want to make sure I'm clear on this because there have been some death threats thrown in here. This is the Real Milk and Honey on Main Street in College Park. Right. Not to be confused with the Milk and Honey restaurant ATL. Okay? Just putting that out there. So he attempted to call the order and it was greeted with an automatic message stating that they do not do call-in orders. The only way to pick up is through DoorDash. Fucking stupid, but whatever. When they tried to do DoorDash, the DoorDash thing said they were closed, but online it said that they closed at 5. When they looked on DoorDash, it was like 4:00. So they were like, you know what? Let's just pull up and walk in and see what's going on. So they walk in, and the restaurant said that they were closed for deep cleaning. Yet folks were still walking in to pick up their orders, which may or may not have been made earlier. Now, remember, Keith Lee always sends his family in first to see if he can get the authentic feel. When he walked in, they tried to flip the script and accommodate him like, oh, well, we could try to get something together for you. And he was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I want to be treated just like everybody else. And I want to get my review with no perks. You're not about to bribe me or make me biased with your, whatever. So he just left that one. The final one is the Old Lady Gang, which is owned by Candy Burris. And what's her husband's name? Is Todd. Thank you. He tried to call the restaurant multiple times and no answer. Again, black establishments. Where's the lie? We all know niggas don't answer no phones. Try to go through DoorDash, and it said they were temporarily closed. When they pulled up, he sent his family in to order takeout. The restaurant said that due to the volume they get on the weekends, they don't do takeout orders on the weekends, which, okay, fair. When they asked how long the wait time was, Old Lady Gang said an hour to an hour and a half. The waitress said they also didn't have any reservations available and didn't really, and Keith said Keith said that the waitress didn't take down any contact information to call when the table was ready. The family then went back to the car that they all were renting, which Keith was sitting in, and relaying the information to Keith. He decided to go on himself and see if the treatment was the same all around. When he went in, he asked about the wait time and then tried to take a few pictures with some customers along with his wife before being told by the waitress that his table was going to be ready in 5 minutes. Yeah. When he asked how his table was ready much faster than that of his family, which, keep in mind, this is literally 2 minutes between the waitress telling the family it's going to be an hour and a half and the waitress telling him it's going to be done in 5 minutes. The person replied that no one on the wait list that she called came in, so it's first come, first serve. Meanwhile, her family is still there. So at that point, he literally was like, you know what? On second thought, I'm going to go. Y'all be good. Have a blessed life. I'm out. So there are two responses to this, right? So the media trained response was Candy Burris actually replying, thanking Keith Lee for visiting and addressed the takeout order response for her restaurant, Old Lady Gang, in which she reiterated what the waitress had said about the takeout orders on the weekend, and mainly was just like, hopefully we can serve you again. The issue with that was she never addressed the time limit, where his family is an hour and a half, but he is 5 minutes. He has always stated that he wanted to just be treated just like everyone else and not like a celebrity, which prompted him to leave shortly after trying to do that. Now that was Candy's response. Meanwhile, here is the owner of the real Milk and Honey first response to Keith Lee.
Did you see this Keith Lee video about the real Milk and Honey?
And who is this Keith Lee?
Daddy, you don't know Keith Lee? Yeah.
No.
Now, listeners, you can't see what we just watched, but it kind of was shot like a skit in a way in which, if you're a restaurant owner, that was dumb as hell because you literally just alienated a lot of people. But then within that, the next thing is, I'll say, shout out to Kev on Stage, who legitimately had the best response of why Keith Lee presented a problem for restaurants in Atlanta.
Okay, this is the one thing I want to say about Keith Lee that I hadn't seen nobody say yet. Here's why it's hard to get him to review your food good. Because you would have to treat everybody the same. You don't know when he's coming. He ain't going to come in and you're like, oh, Keith, let's treat him right. That don't work. That backfires. And the people he's sending in for the food, he don't never show them on the videos. So in order to treat him well, you would have to treat every customer well. And well, that's just going to take too much doggone time. It's easy to treat celebs well when they come in. We celebs, we on our way, treat us different. That's easy. But you try to do that to Keith, and it backfired. He like the Joker right now. You trying to bribe him? He's like, nah, man, I don't want your money. I want to pay for the food, and I want to be treated normal. People are like, what? This ain't how celebrity works. Let me treat you different. And then the video go crazy because of that. And the restaurants, they not finna treat everybody well. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I couldn't have said that better myself, like legitimately. So within all that, we're just going to say this. Atlanta restaurateurs, okay? Or even restaurant, I'm not even going to specify this for Atlanta. Just anybody. There was a time when everybody was like, oh, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to get really good into this business world, start a restaurant and just let the money flow come in. There's a difference between you starting something as an entrepreneur and you having a passion for it. When you have a passion for it, i.e., Brother X and Teacher Bay being teachers, they don't get paid top American dollar for that, but they do it for the love and the passion. And when you do it for the love and the passion, it shows in your work ethic. It shows in your product. If you're doing it just because, oh, I can get a quick buck out of it, you're not going to show the best work ethic and your product's going to suck. So if you're telling me that these big chain restaurants are like, oh my God, we're such an ours because Keith Lee gave us a negative review. What did you want him to do? Nigga, like, I still remember me and Brother X going to BQE along with our brother Drewski, and they told us, oh yeah, a table here is a 2.5 hour wait. And we say, excuse me? You say 2.5 hours? My nigga, it is 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
How did you get to 2.5 hours already? Mind you, there are 3 tables that we are literally looking at. And shout out to our homegirl, Shannon Jazz, who already had a reservation and was like, oh no, we're on the book. And it just turned out that we were the next one to be reserved. But when it comes to this, like, understand what you are getting when you ask Keith Lee to review your restaurant, because he don't go just because. You usually ask him to review, and then he'll just pull up unannounced. So you're asking for his review, which means you got to be ready to take constructive criticism, good or the bad. Because he even says at the beginning, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be non-biased, I'm going to tell you what it is. And so for Atlanta to now be up in arms, especially restaurateurs, because now all of a sudden they're getting negative reviews, well, it means that you might want to change how your customer service is. You know, like, we get it. It's a city that's huge and it's overpacked, but if you're going to open something, make sure that you have the necessary protocols in place to ensure you have a successful business plan as well as a great environment to cultivate. And that goes not only for restaurateurs, but the people that actually go to the restaurants. Don't be assholes, these people sometimes. They don't need that. Just go there and enjoy the food like we used to. Last thing, and then I'll kick it back to Brother X. You know it's bad when this man made your restaurant such scorched earth for social media that you had to change the house rules in order to update them to fit today's demographic, which is funny because I have the house rules on the screen. I know everybody can't see them, but I'm going to summarize it for you. The one that I just pulled up on the left was the original one. And I remember this one because the Milk and Honey that's in DC used to, that's in, Maryland. They had these house rules. I specifically remember house rule number, where is it? Number 6. No reservations unless you're Barack Obama. Parentheses, hey, there's exceptions to every rule. I remember that rule to its entirety. I was like, that's actually kind of funny. These rules are literally the same, except now it says new feature. Now through Yelp, you can add yourself to the wait list from the comfort of home or work. People, we had a pandemic 3 years ago. If you're telling me you cannot use Yelp or some other service to add wait lists, get your priorities in order. Me and Teacher Baby going to Chili's and put ourselves on the wait list before we even get there. Hell, we did that for L'Oreal Plaza. We literally put our name on the wait list before we left the house and then drove there and our table was ready. Small things, people. Small things. Back to you, Brother X.
Well, thank you, Mr. Smith. That was a very great soliloquy of the whole situation. I think a couple of first things, let's just make sure we address, like, hey, Keith Lee, I do not have the following nor the support that you have, but I appreciate all the work that you are doing. Just like Kevin on stage and that chick Angel said, you are a celebrity, so understand that this is starting to become a part of the territory. You got the fan base, you get the problems. More money, more problems. But beyond that, I also want to make sure it's very clear that people understand that he's not just going there and just putting things down. He makes it very clear, hey, he puts quantify. I think Kevin on stage said it really perfectly. He spends almost half his video putting quantifying statements to make sure it's clear, like, this is just his experience. So people like review bomb in the places and never been. It was like, dog, that's not what I asked you to. That's not anything of what I asked you to do. But lastly, for the jackasses on social media that are trying to question, well, did Keith Lee go to culinary school? My nigga, he just going to get lemon pepper wet with crinkle fries and a bev. Why does he need to go to culinary school for that? And then shout out to, I forget the lady's name, but she's like a judge on a lot of Food Network shows. Where it's like, if I'm judging or I'm critiquing food, I'm not going there as a chef. I'm going as a prospective customer trying to get an experience from the food. Can I articulate specifically what each meal is made out of, like the fat ratio, the salt, all of those things? Yes. But again, shout out to that chick Angel. Is the food good? Do a slap? Was my food cold? Were the fries trash? Any of those things. So just messing with all that mess. And then people try and like make threats to this man. Listeners, I hope you understand. Keith Lee is a former MMA fighter. MMA, mixed martial arts. Roll up on him if you want to. You're going to look like Cat Williams after that one video. If you don't know, go look it up. Cat Williams will tell you, you don't want that. Queen C, Teacher Bay, do y'all have any thoughts? Go ahead.
One, you foolish for that statement, but you didn't lie.
I'm saying.
Two, I feel like Keith was better off doing the Atlanta wing tour.
See, he a family man. He can't do the Atlanta wing tour like that.
But
now,
he don't go in there. He sent somebody else in there. He could have. I'm just saying.
What is he gonna look like sending his mama up in certain establishments?
It doesn't have to be his mama. It could have been one of his homeboys.
Homeboy ain't gonna come back out in time. The food gonna be cold. You already know what it is.
Hey, the food would have came out quicker.
I mean, you're not wrong. But yeah. Any more thoughts, Teacher Bay?
Yeah, so I'm with you. I feel like they just need to stop. I mean, we all like to go to these websites and look at the reviews. Like, is it worth going to? Is it worth buying? And that's all he's doing. He's just telling us reviews about the food, and I'm here for it. You can't get upset. Like we heard earlier, maybe you just need to, well, I'm a fan of Candy Burris, so I'm glad that she handled it that way, because I don't want to I don't want to not have to support her. But I do know that she has other restaurants, and so sometimes it is hard to check in on those, but it's the management that she needs to go back and kind of evaluate, because I think it was probably a bad manager in there that kind of made that judgment. I was like, oh, we got a celebrity. Let's hurry up. So you got to be careful who you put in charge. And, if you have a lot of ventures out there, make sure you go back to double check on the, on the status, because it is about the customers. And so that's all I'm going to say. I also saw a little contradiction, though, with the house rules, because still number 6 said the same thing. It said no reservation on the new one. No reservations, but yet you could add your name to the wait list. So which one is it?
I'm glad you caught that.
You just took off Obama's name. That's all you did.
Like, dog, just do right by people. Which is such a crazy thing to ask for, a basic human right to do right by others. Mr. Smith, you have a final thought before we move on?
Yeah. And then just to add on to what you said, listeners, when he said that Keith Lee is a former MMA fighter, he ain't playing. So Brother X said that you'll end up like Cat Williams. I'm going to say you're going to end up like that heckler that tried to jump on Dave Chappelle and got his arm in a freaking chicken wing. If you don't know,
crispy, flipped, and tossed in sauce.
You're going to end up like old boy on the plane behind Mike Tyson.
Oh. I just wanted the ear. Get away from me, Banda.
My man going to end up looking like Peter Griffin after he fell down some stairs. Again, if you know the reference, you know the reference. We're going to go ahead and move on. We're actually going to take some time to get into a Black business highlight that is pretty dope that I wanted to highlight after this past weekend. The name of this company is called Next Level Collegiate Pride. It is also known as a higher standard _ on Instagram. It is a black woman-owned business by shout out to, I believe her Instagram name is Sufficy5. She is a graduate of Hampton University, the standard of excellence, the illustrious Hampton University. You got to say all the names, all the titles, everything. I'm sorry, I heard the ghost of Coach Scientist saying that I was correct and that I'm very accurate in saying I'm not being extra. I'm sorry, I still hear the ghost saying that I'm not being extra. So thank you, Coach Scientist. I appreciate your support. All right. So with Next Level Collegiate Pride, they have a multitude of different items. They are a clothing brand as well as an apparel for HBCUs. In particular, they just have a line, because it is a Hampton grad, that they recognize and acknowledge the 3 class names of the most popular names of of Hampton University, which is Ogre Phi Ogre, the best class, Quintessence, the second best class, and then you have Onyx. And I better say it's there. But they have a multitude of really dope things. They just had QTH just had their 10-year celebration, and I'm gonna say it now, they probably had the best apparel, like of any of young alumni, because their class had not only they had the crew neck popping with their class name and everything else on it, but they also had T-shirts that went along with it and this phenomenal tailgate cup. Like, ladies, I know you like the little tumblers and all of those big Starbucks cups. You need to go ahead and look at it, because they got a multitude of items. Now, I don't say that you get the ones that has a class name, because you trip setting. You are you don't want to do that. That's like wearing AKAs to a Delta function.
No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, go ahead.
That's like old girl that decided to get into a stroll competition, AKA, but she was not an AKA.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. But all the same, they have not only Hampton apparel, they also have HBCU apparels with like really nice crew necks, like different HBCUs, Dog Park University, Florida A&M, Spelman, Morehouse. What I do? Oh.
You know what you did.
Oh, I'm sorry. They also recognize Black teacher apparel as well. So if you're actually interested in them, you can go to the website, which is www.nextlevelhbcu.com. You can also check them out on social media at A Higher Standard, spelled like normal, _ on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, all the things in between. Their information will be seen in the description below. Without further ado, we're actually going to go ahead on the tip of talking about homecoming related things. We're just going to give you a quick recap of Hampton's homecoming. Now, listeners, I would say that myself and the culture scientists came with one purpose, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But for us, going to this homecoming has been, I won't say the tail end, because I don't know how the culture science is going to do this, but she got 2 more homecomings she's going to try to go to this weekend. I don't know how she's going to do it. They're both in North Carolina. Just pray for her liver. But yeah, it was kind of like a cap off of a month of October where we've had so many different things. Our mini honeymoon, her school's homecoming, our homecoming. It's just been a lot going on within the last like 3-4 weeks. So overall, I'll give you my first takeaway is that I'm about to say Hampton's homecoming is just different. Like, the Pirates do it differently over here. Like, I've been to quite a few homecomings, both North Carolina and Virginia. Still haven't been down to what is it? Not Morehouse. Tuskegee. I need to get down to Spellhouse. I need to get down to Tuskegee. But hey, I will compare it to any homecoming in Virginia right now. For as small as the school is, the experience this year has been phenomenal. Shout out to all the alumni that came back. Some people I hadn't seen in almost 10 plus years. It has been a blessing to see them. Everybody looks good. Like, I saw some of my little brothers I haven't talked to in years. And coming back, it's great to seeing the growth, seeing people alive. That's a blessing in of itself. But all in all, my initial thoughts were it's leveled up. I think the President Williams, is doing a phenomenal job growing the brand of Hampton and honestly making it a more better, well-rounded experience for both alumni and students. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. Do y'all have any initial thoughts or overall thoughts about the homecoming experience this year, guys? Mr. Smith, go ahead.
For me, I would definitely say that the overall homecoming experience was like, I can't even put it into words, honestly. Like, one, anybody that went to Hampton know, I don't care what they say, there is a weather machine, and the weather machine was on 100 million that weekend. I'm talking, it started to get cold, towards the middle of October, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that week literally went from 61 Thursday, 75. Friday, 78 or 79, 80. Saturday, 78. Sunday, 76. I'm like, there was not a cloud, listeners, not a cloud in sight. It was perfect. To kind of double down on Brother X's point, shout out to President Williams, man. He definitely is putting the work in to make Hampton really stand out amongst the Ivy League of HBCUs. I mean, this man done brought Lola Brooke, who, if we was back in President Harvey's time, we would have never seen that. And I mean, ever. Listen, I'm still shocked we got T.I. that one year, even though technically T.I. was an hour and a half late. But we just leave that alone.
Is it Nas or is it Jeezy that still owes us a concert?
Jeezy
got us to go out and vote, and my man had the whole song "My President is Black," and you never came back to give us that concert
at all.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue thoughts.
But yeah, just like the amount of just effort and seeing the bazaar, seeing how organized it is. The man, when it came to the issues that plague some of the other HBCUs like Bowie State and Morgan State, Bowie State, and Jackson State, President Williams is on it. He was like, yeah, nah, we're going to have 24/7 security around the clock. There's going to be security cameras. Got to, listen, motion detector. You try something, and it's a wrap immediately. But overall, I think what really stands out is the fact that the alumni that came with one purpose in mind. Look, we coming back to fellowship with those that we went through the grind of college with, people we ain't seen in a year, 2, 5, 10, 20. And we're just going to have a good time. Go get some good food, gonna enjoy the experience of just pretty much being on the campus again. Campus looked amazing. Like, it was a great experience. And it's one of those ones where if this was your first time going to Hampton's Homecoming, you'd want to come back every year. Honestly.
Exactly. Like, honestly, it made me almost consider coming back next year. Like, I promised I was going to chill. Like I said, I was good for a while before I came. After this weekend, I still might chill, but it's more considerate. I'm more considerate now. Quincy, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, 100% agree with what both of you all just said, so I won't rehash anything. Just quickly shout out to all the littles from QT8 that celebrated their 10-year. Shout out to all the bigs from Onyx 7 who celebrated 15-year, and everybody else in between that was there. Got to see a bunch of people. And I had a blast. And another kudos to the new president, President Williams. Teacher Bay and I were sitting waiting to leave the parking lot, and they had shuttle buses for people who did not buy parking on campus. They had shuttle buses from the Coliseum and from the community college, and those buses were coming not every 15, they were coming every 5 minutes to pick people up and drop people off like clockwork. It was beautiful. Money well spent.
Yeah, man. Teacher Bay?
I agree as well with everyone and what has been said. Like, he's doing the damn thing. But definitely putting us on the map with having a app to contend with the other schools, you know, making sure that we advance in the technology world. And what else did I tell you?
The alumni mixer with SWV.
Oh, yes. Again, just having more celebrities come out. SWV, Jermaine Dupri, Big Boy, a couple of go-go bands.
Rare
right?
Essence was there.
Right.
And what's the group that does Fantastic Voyage? They were there.
Not sure, but oldies will represent.
Yeah.
But you also forgot to mention Mariah the Scientist and Narda Wick was also with Lola Brooks. You know, I'm in there with the young crowd. Y'all the elders.
That's crazy.
Anyway.
Wow.
Really? In the black music and all the things. Yeah, I'm hip. Thank you, Teacher Bay.
Ma'am, don't get red on this podcast.
But shout out to the drone show that they had. That was really dope to kind of see as
Yeah.
well. But before we get into like the main part of our homecoming experience, there are some things that I want to bring before the table. We can discuss it now because after the fact and they can't get us for it. Everything was great. The prices for some of the stuff, so I need to make it known, and maybe some of our Hampton listeners can make it can confirm whether or not this happened for them as well. We got late. We were late to the game on Saturday for reasons we'll get into in just a moment. But we smooth walked in the visitors gate almost near halftime with no checking of our tickets, with no security check. Listeners, I am proud to say I walked in double bottled up with 2 containers of mixed drinks, and damn near was on the sideline of the game. Don't ask me how I got there. It has to, hey, blame it on the Wakanda. Yeah. But Quincy, yes.
We don't need our even though we love our Hampton listeners. I got them on Facebook. Nobody tickets got scanned for nothing that they bought except for the parties. Anything on campus that you bought a ticket for, the parking, the game, you didn't get a wristband, you didn't get your ticket scanned, you just walked in that bitch.
Hey, charge to the game. The school need the money. Hey, if the experience is like it is right now, granted, you want to make sure you get what you paid for, but you got the experience, man. We need to make sure that we're donating that money goes to the game. So if anything, as much as I like it, I don't want it to become a bad precedent where people start talking badly about the school and people not actually pay the money and try to sneak in and then they complain and say, well, I did it the last 3 years. Well, be grateful you got those last 3 years. That's beside the point. Additionally, just wow. I'm gonna say people weren't as naked as I thought they might be with the weather being considered. I'm not that person that get off my lawn, but I've also recognized that, hey, some fashion has changed. And I've also realized, hey, ma'am, you ain't got you but itty bitty. You ain't got the body to be wearing nothing on. You ain't got no body fat. You ain't got enough clothes on. You're going to be shivering and you wondering, why is it so cold? Man, you trying to be chose. You ain't got no Q oil in your system. You ain't got no blue juice. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm giving away the trade secrets again. But yeah, my whole point is being made. But with that being said, I would feel rude if I stole the thunder of this. But Mr. Smith and Teacher Bay, would y'all like to explain why me and the culture scientist actually came to this homecoming?
Giggity.
Sure. So, listeners, if you know, I'd say about 4 or 5 months ago, around Brother X's bachelor party, I pulled Brother X aside and I said, Brother X, I think it's time that I turn in my boyfriend tokens. I think it's time for me to get on with the get on and ride off into the sunset. I think I found my person. And Brother X looked at me and said, you better have, because I ain't trying to find nobody else. I ain't trying to learn nobody else.
I ain't ready to learn nobody new.
So I said, okay. So then he said, do you have an idea of how you're going to do it? And I said, I'm putting something together, but I'm going to text you and keep you in the loop of it. But I gave him kind of a breakdown of how I wanted to do it. So within that, probably about a couple months later is when I kind of messaged Queen C about, hey, so I'm looking to go get the engagement ring. And she was like, okay, let me know what you need me to do in order to help facilitate this proposal. Now, listeners, I legit did everything that I needed to do based on Teacher Bay's requirements. I asked the right people for their blessing, and I took my mom, shout out to Mama Smith, and Teacher Bay's sister. And we went to, Teacher Bay's sister was on FaceTime, but we went to stores, went to a couple different stores, checked out a couple different things, and it's crazy that the ring that we found, all of us said within 10 seconds of it, yep, that's it. That's the one. We didn't got to think about it. That's the one. All of us kind of looked at each other like, yep, that's it. So, took care of what I needed to take care of and then put the plan in order. So me, Queen C, and Brother X had to talk in code since somebody is nosy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm talking
Gotta
about
be
you.
James Bond with it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Okay, Carmen Carmen San Diego.
I'm about to say you looking like an owl the way you turning your neck.
Damn. But so we talked in code and had a kind of a plan in place, and the entire time Teacher Bay didn't have any clue what was going to happen. She had asked throughout our relationship, like, hey, just give me a ballpark. And listeners, if you know me, if you ask me a question like that, I'm gonna tell you the most foolish answer ever. So there was times I said 2026, I said 2027, I said when we 40, I done came up with some BS answers. But overall, I knew since I want to say probably like 3 to 4 months into us dating, like for real, I was like, yeah, this is it. I already know. So let me go ahead and start putting the plan together. I'm serious. Like, no lie. I did. I knew within about 2-3 months. I told you that. I said, you were with me. Okay. Listeners, I'm sorry. This is about to get sentimental, so just bear with me.
Hey, you better talk your shit. You better talk your shit like I did.
So you remember when we were like 19, 20 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And you remember, like, you told me later on, but you told me that you liked me then, right? Mm-hmm. You were one of the only people that saw me for who I was and my potential and didn't judge me for it. When I ain't have nothing but a Honda Accord and was doing hack rides to freaking Walmart and McDonald's and Waffle House. You saw my potential then. You didn't see me as this person that's shy and just, nobody want to talk to him, or, okay, I'm gonna give away a little trade secret for Hampton. There is a rule that guys came up with at Hampton University's campus. Now, this is old Hampton. I can't talk for the new ones, but for old Hampton, it's a 4-3-2-1 rule.
Hey, talk about it.
So the 4-3-2-1 rule is 4 wheels, 3 letters, 2 numbers, 1 house. A guy, if they want to be successful in getting a girl, must have at least one of the 4. 4 wheels equals a car. So you must have a car to be able to pick up the girl, whatever. 3 letters equals your Greek, meaning you must have pledged or been, I guess, inducted. Is that the word I want to use?
Into like a society?
Yeah, well, not inducted, but you guys know what I'm saying. Cross the burning sands to a fraternity to sorority organization. Even though y'all do not haze and all that, go ahead and get the disclaimer.
How about saying Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated is a non-hazing organization. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, it is a non-hazing organization. I don't know about the rest of Divine Nine, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Blue and white don't haze.
How about say, we keep them blue and white, not black and blue.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Public service announcement. 2 numbers equals you're on a sports team: football, basketball, baseball, track. Well, I can't say track, but yeah, even though track people got it too. And then 1 equals a house, meaning you had an apartment or some off-campus housing where you didn't have to subscribe to the rules and things that Hampton University's campus offered under the guise of President William R. Harding. So then I had what? A car, and that was it. And even then, it wasn't like, we've seen some cars on there, like the Lexuses, the people that come from money. But for you to see the potential in me when all I was pushing was a 95 Honda Accord LX, and I remember that car, right? Mm-hmm. And you still, from the time that we were 20 to now, you've never changed. You have always seen me be like, I want him.
Because you had a big heart.
Mm-hmm.
And a big head.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
But what?
Shut the heck! Go corner, go.
Why you ruin it? Why you ruin it?
I'm sorry.
It was sweet. Then you ruined it.
It's called Sour Patch Kids.
No, you're a warhead. Is what you are.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I blew
an
up.
airhead.
Oh, definitely not an airhead.
Oh Lord,
I said it's better than the airhead, the warhead.
There you go.
But yeah, so overall, when we finally got together, and I knew, like, I saw that you never changed up, I was like, as you get older, you realize, like, you know what you need in life. And me and you've had these conversations on multiple dates where I said, those that subscribe to the aesthetics, like, oh, what do you bring to the table? I am the table. Do you see me? Look at me, whatever. I'm gonna be blunt, and Daddy Smith, Mama Smith, if you listen to this, I'm sorry in advance because I'm about to be a little blunt. Don't judge your son.
Teacher Bay Daddy.
That too, yeah. Teacher Bay Daddy and Teacher Bay Mama, don't judge me either, please. Okay, this is just one moment.
I was
okay?
like, you are currently in their good graces.
I know. But those women that do that to me, honestly, can just offer sex and that's it. That's all you are, is just pretty much a what's the word I want to use? A human fleshlight. That's pretty much what you are.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, speaking to the mic. What was that?
You are a human fleshlight.
Right, because we wasn't going to skip over that like you didn't just say that.
I never want to be said again that I am not the most innocent one on this podcast. Mrs. Smith is worse than me.
Yes, but Queen C is the most innocent one. So
Teacher Bay don't know a thing
Truly.
about what he's talking about.
You a whole lie. You a whole Beyonce. I wish you would lie on this podcast.
Anywho,
I will air this bitch out.
Oh Lord.
Bad fart. I will air it out.
Oh, whoa, sir. Calm down, Jamal. Put down a 9.
He's a warhead.
Oh
I
God.
told you he was a warhead.
Oh God. Listeners, we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So anywho, but no, since then I knew like what was up, and I've seen how you are with my family. I saw like the genuineness in you reminded me of what I grew up with, and so I knew that that's kind of what I want for my future. I don't want to have a relationship that's good on paper. I want it to feel good as well. And you were one of the few people in my life that allowed me to be 100% me. Like I could be a goofy person. I could talk to 2 other women. Make sure I word this correctly. I could have a conversation. Listen, I could have a conversation with 2 other women about school stuff and about being a big sister. And you legit will look at it like, well, they're his big sister, so I don't care. Like legit, you have done, and you've shown that multiple times.
She legit at homecoming went to the bar while he was talking to one of his big sisters. She's like, "Oh, nice to see you again. I'm gonna go get a drink."
So I knew what was up, and so getting back to the point. I enlisted the help of culture scientist Brother X and Queen C, and basically, I knew where her freshman dorm was. I knew where her heart was, and her heart was always on Hampton. So I said, what better place to have the proposal than where we first met and where we first was introduced to each other. So the day of the tailgate, Teacher Bay wasn't feeling well, and we had to get through a couple of different hurdles on that day. But Brother X, culture scientist, and Queen C went under the disguise of saying that Brother X and culture scientists had to help some family members at a specific dorm, but what they were really doing was setting up the area for the photography for the proposal. Me and Teacher Bay arrived a couple of hours later. Not our fault due to traffic, because we were stuck on that X-Ram for at least 45 minutes. And we walked. I actually also was purpose in what we wanted to wear that day. So we had matching Hampton University bomber jackets. And I walked us into a spot that Brother X had found. And I just looked in her eyes and I said, it's kind of funny that we're here in this chapter where our chapter started, where we were first, started to become who we were. And what better place to start our next chapter. And you didn't have any clue at all where I was going with it. You just kind of looked at me like, oh, he's having a good sentiment in the moment. And granted, listeners, we do take pictures on the waterfront every year. So she just was thinking, oh, this is going to be the normal photo shoot. And then I got down on one knee. And I looked at you with that rain box and I said, I'm not going to tell your name. I'm just going to say, Teacher Bay, will you marry me? And what was the first words out your mouth?
I love you.
No.
Don't lie. I'm about to say, we got audio.
Look, I'm going to tap in for this one. She looks at the culture scientist and says, is this real? She then turns to me and says, "Are you serious?"
Yes.
But you're
yes.
missing the important part.
Okay.
No.
That
Hold
is
on.
the important part.
I need you to understand, listeners. The culture scientist has her whole photography camera taking pictures all up in her face. I'm standing off like at a distance, like I'm the paparazzi taking pictures, and she still hasn't figured it out yet.
I
Good
thought
to
you
you.
guys were enjoying the scenery. It was beautiful. The weather was beautiful. We're by the waterfront. I mean, who doesn't want to take good pictures of the
When have we
scenery?
ever used our actual cameras to take pictures on the waterfront?
I don't keep count. So I want
The fact that you gotta think about it. I'm sorry.
But
Listeners,
no,
what we're not saying is she was so like, you ever just saw the loading screen like on like the iPhone when it's supposed to be loading your video, but it's not? That was her. Because I think we legitimately broke her.
She went
Like,
to
she
the
had to do a
screen on
factory
2K.
reset.
But hold on, you said I threw you off.
with my sunglasses.
Oh yeah. So as we were talking, she had sunglasses on because listeners, like I said, the weather was beautiful. I'm talking 78, not a cloud in the sky. And if you've ever been on Hampton's campus, you know the waterfront when it's a day like that, gorgeous. So I was talking to her, and as I was talking to her, I said, you know, babe, let me get your glasses. You have a smudge on it. And I was doing that so that the camera could get her face without the glasses. And so when I went to go wipe the glasses off, as I'm talking to her, I slowly put the glasses in my pocket. And as I'm getting ready to answer her question, not the actual question, but a question, she looks at me and says, "But babe, my glasses." And I was like, "Don't worry about that."
I was so focused on my glasses, I did not really pay attention to what was going on. Because I'm like, "Are you cleaning my glasses? I need to put them back on." And I just, everything happened so fast.
And so she proceeded to say, "Is this real? Is this really happening? Oh my gosh." And she loaded for about 3 seconds. And then she said, "Of course I'll marry you," and just goes in for a hug. And so, yep, that was the big thing, is that me and Teacher Bay are now officially engaged. And you are now my fiance. How does it feel?
It feels amazing. I feel very loved and appreciated and special. And I couldn't believe you pulled one on me, because what you forgot to tell the listeners was that's not the first time you got down on your knee, because he's done like little fake proposals. So then I thought this was like not real, like you were trying to play me. That's why.
I hear you, but I also was doing the fake ones because you kept bothering me about it. And I was like, all right, fine. I'm going to give you what you asked for. You're like, you're not being serious. I'm like, I know, but you keep asking for it.
Yeah, but when I saw the light shining down on that ring, I said, snap out of it. It's real.
Damn, you didn't snap out of nothing.
So the other thing with that, which shout out to Queen C for definitely helping out. Couldn't have done this without you. She had a recording on one phone of the actual proposal, but on the other phone, what Teacher Bay also didn't know was her sister was on the phone on FaceTime along with her brother-in-law and cousin. And they watched the entire thing. So when Queen C said, "Hey, Teacher Bay, there's someone that wants to talk to you," and Teacher Bay looked at it, she said, I'm so confused. Who is this? And her sister said, "Teacher Bay." And so she had to end up going to the shade. And literally within about 5 seconds, I think that's when you finally like snapped into it. And you popped that ring up so fast and said, "Ah." So overall, I was nervous. I wasn't nervous because of me worrying about what you were going to say as far as a yes or no, because I already knew what the answer was. You told me before. I think it was just nervous because as a man, that's me being completely vulnerable in that moment of something that's like a huge thing. And so I don't know why, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm nervous because I don't know if she's going to say yes, she's going to say no. It's like, I'm nervous because I don't want to stumble over my words. I want to make sure that I told you. I want the moment to be a forever moment. I don't want to just say something. I don't want to be like a person who just rolled out of bed and just be like, hey, here's the ring. Will you marry me? No, I want it to be something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. I think I did that. You think I did that?
I think
You did not pull a jagged edge.
Was that the reaction?
Wow, jagged edge?
Might as well.
Anywho, what were you about to ask?
Was that the reaction that you expected?
No, but it was the reaction that was authentic to you. Because I was
Definitely on brand.
Yeah, I was expecting you to be a little bit more dramatic, but at the same time, I also know you. You're only dramatic when you're expecting it. When you're not expecting it is when you're like, whoa, I'm confused. What's going on? What's happening?
Speechless.
Oh, yeah, you were speechless. And honestly, it was a perfect video by Queen C. Again, the only thing that I wish I did was that I spoke up more so that way you could hear my audio. But I was kind of like trying to make sure I remembered exactly what I wanted to say. So it was just kind of an internal conversation. But it's one of those videos that I legit could look at every day and I smile every time I see it. So love you, baby.
I love you too. Like I said, I think it was just perfect. The perfect proposal, perfect way. Just everything was perfect. So
The perfect wine.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Don't forget
And
about
again,
that part.
shout out to Queen C, who had not only her favorite wine, but also Teacher Bay's favorite wine. So yeah, we definitely took
We would have the same favorite wine. We're damn near twins.
but shout out to that. And then the last thing, and then I'll kick it back to you, Brother X. After the proposal, which again, I love my family and Queen C, Brother X, and the culture scientists, but y'all some buttholes. Every time we ran up on somebody, they would say, oh, hey, what's going on? Literally, Brother X, culture scientist, and Queen C would look and say, Mr. Smith, do the thing. And they'd be like, what's going on? As if they didn't just see us the day before. And I would have to say, allow me to reintroduce you. This is my fiance, Teacher Bay. And they would say, fiance?
Dog.
When did this happen?
When did this happen?
And then we'll say, oh, it happened today. Today?
Yep, about 2:00.
So, but yeah, honestly, when I look back at it, I wouldn't have it any other way. That was actually the perfect, just humbling proposal. And I think I couldn't have had it any better. So I'm cool with that. Back to you, Brother X.
Me too. I can't believe not one person slipped up. I wasn't on to
No, we don't
We're
follow.
not new to this. We're true to this. What you
I'm
mean?
gonna say we ain't fresh. We ain't soft like Anthony Davis's knees, but
Wow.
Oh.
Wow. First of all, it's his ankle, not his knees. Even though it's soft like toilet tissue. Get it right.
I'm about to say, don't worry, it's coming.
Oh God.
But nah, I'm about to say, you know me. I'm about to say, listeners, y'all heard my proposal. I kept my shit hidden for like a good year. But honestly, I'm just glad we're able to be a part of that moment. I'm glad we're able to capture those images. I'm working on getting those to you. We might, if they give us your approval, post some of them, but we'll see. But yeah, man, just thank you for letting us be a part of that day. I think with all that, we're actually going to finish up our talks about homecoming. Honestly, some final thoughts I have, I guess, like my transparent moment. It's just kind of like, I've realized now that we're starting to get in that phase that we're really starting to become older in the sense of we don't need as many parties for us to have a good time. Like I believe one of the biggest things we talked about before the show was that I'm honestly down for just doing one party. I'm a one party person. I don't have to go out both nights to have a phenomenal homecoming. And this year has shown me that. Shout out to the Air and Space Museum that we went to. I really think, and listeners or anybody that's paying attention to this, if you have the ability to throw a party next year in the Air and Space Museum and it's near Halloween, please make it a costume party because the streets need it. Like I can't tell you, like the space in of itself could hold damn near all the young alumni and it would have been a phenomenal time. Like you had 3 levels, which was kind of technically 2, but we're not talking about that. But yeah. And then honestly, from what I've heard from the rest of the people on the podcast, the sneaker ball / all black event was phenomenal. So it's really, really dope. And I mean, just please remember when you go to homecoming, enjoy the experience. Don't have a bad case of FOMO. Like I almost like suggest you don't. I won't say don't ask, but limit how many people you ask. Oh man, what party are you going to? Because then you'll start thinking in your head if you don't hear your party that you paid for already, you're going to start questioning it, and then it's going to ruin your experience. Just be in the moment, enjoy it. That's just my 2 cents. Anybody have any final thoughts before we move on? Yes, Mr. Smith.
Kind of same thing as what you said. I would say just make sure that as we get older, understand that you're gonna need more rest. You're gonna need to hydrate more. I mean, we kind of gave these tips in our last homecoming episode, which I believe was last year. So if you haven't listened to it, go run them numbers up. We definitely gave some good hints on that. But just understand that there is a way for you to be comfortable and still be fly. I've seen a lot of, like me, Teacher Bay, and Queen C showed up to the all black, which like Brother X said was a sneaker ball. And you knew it because you read the flyer. I didn't. But it was fire how you could pull the fits out and still have some fly shoes that still come together. There were a lot of people that was like, you know what? Like those days we were undergrad and you wore heels everywhere. Yeah, nah. If you get me in heels, we gonna be at this one location. And that's it. And them heels only going to be on until we get to the car. And then once the car comes, nope. Give me my slides, give me my flats, give me my Crocs. Don't matter. Put me in all of them.
Look, in the words of one of our big brothers, they only check it from the shin up.
I forgot about that. Oh God! Shout out to our brother Ote. That was funny. But overall, just enjoy the experience with the folks that are there. And if you have the connections, get a drink, fellowship, take some pictures, just be in the moment. Don't think about, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? Oh, what's going to happen next week? Me personally, I had a hell of a week leading up to homecoming. Like a lot of stuff was going wrong work-wise and all that. And literally, the bazaar and the tailgate, I literally could just be like, you know what? I'll deal with that on Monday. Right now, I just want to enjoy this time with my family and just be in the moment. And it was something that it just felt right. And I'm glad that I found my forever person to do that with, in which, hell, you might be in the fish fry line before me. Just saying.
Oh, don't worry. Hey, as a recently married man, dog, it ain't about you no more. It ain't about you.
I know.
I'm about to say you want the background dancers now.
Yep.
Jackson.
No. To be fair.
No, it's a duet.
No. To be fair, you Gladys Knight. I'm the Pips.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Oh yeah. For the next few months, they're gonna ask, where's Teacher Bay? Teacher Bay, let me see the ring. They ain't gonna say hi to you. They don't even acknowledge you. They're gonna be a 20-minute conversation. You ain't gonna be able to speak once.
It'd be that way sometime, but she worth it, so it's cool.
Hey, that's all that matters. Queen C, any final thoughts?
I agree with my brother once again. Live in the moment, have fun, enjoy the experience. If your social battery dies, it is okay to walk away. Nobody will judge you, I promise. Also, few more shout out to our blue and white family, mine and brother X's, the Sigma Zeta tent, for that delicious, freshly fried fish. Appreciate y'all showing us love. For the blue juice, for the kitty milks. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm giving away trade secrets again. Let me shout out also to the DJ at the Black Party / Sneaker Ball. I'm gonna call him DJ Santa Claus because this motherfucker was in his bag. Like hits you ain't heard in 5, 10, 15 years since you was in undergrad. He was playing them back to back to back to back. He never missed.
This motherfucker don't miss.
He don't miss. Even in the heart of battle, he don't miss. But in all actuality, man, I think. Oh yes, Teacher Bay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, final thoughts.
I mean, same thing like as everyone else has said. Definitely the DJ at the sneaker ball was in his bag. I didn't even want to leave. I mean, they were trying to get me to go, but then I was like, oh man, he done got to the Afrobeat. Oh my God. You know what? He hit like every genre you could ever think of with the today's hits, and
he played Throw Some D's on that thing. I ain't heard that song in forever.
Just everything. But no, just as everyone said, I think if I had one tip just to leave for everyone or for the listeners, it's okay to be cute, but they have taught me it's okay for me to wear my sneakers or not my heels.
Listeners, I don't care what nobody say, and I've even said it to my wife. Leave them combat boots in 2022. Leave them combat boots.
I'm gonna just pack on the side my little slippers or my slides.
All right, you're gonna be combating some bad feet. Wow. Queen C, go ahead.
One last thing though, shout out to my big brother, Mr. Smith, because for the first time in I don't know how long, we cranked that Soulja Boy.
We did. We did. Yeah. And my knees paid for it the next morning, but it was okay.
Snap, crackle, and pop.
It was dancing. Hey, we were dancing.
But with that being said, listeners, this brings another episode of the Truth and Transparency Podcast to a close. You can always hit us up on our social media at the TNT Pod 123 on Twitter, Truth and Transparency Pod on Instagram, Truth and Transparency Pod on TikTok, the Truth and Transparency Podcast on Facebook, the Truth and Transparency Podcast on YouTube, and you can always hit us up on our email at truthandtransparencypod123@gmail.com. For the listeners, for Queen C, for Mr. Smith beard that's being stroked by Teacher Bay. If this podcast gets no bigger than what it is right now, they are forever grateful. We are forever grateful. And the immortal words of my father, eat the elephant one bite at a time. Peace.
Engaged now.